Hello students, we are learning about organic compounds. We started with the introduction and the classification of organic compounds in the previous video. So in today's video, we are going to see about functional groups and homologous series. As I told you already, hydrocarbons are the parent organic compounds. And what are hydrocarbons again? Organic compounds which have only carbon and hydrogens and no other atoms are called hydrocarbons. So you can represent a hydrocarbon as R bond H. This R is called as the alkyl part, bond H. For example, CH3 bond H is methane. Methane is a hydrocarbon which is nothing but CH4. So that CH4 can be written as CH3 bond H. That CH3 part is commonly represented as R, which can be called as alkyl group. Another example is ethane. CH3 bond CH3 is ethane. If you remove one hydrogen atom, you will have CH3 bond CH2. That part is called as ethyl. So that ethyl is also the alkyl group. So this R can be methyl, ethyl, propyl, butyl, anything. So how will you get this alkyl part? If you remove an hydrogen from the hydrocarbon, which means the alkane, you will get the R part. So hydrocarbons can be represented as RH. It can be any hydrocarbon like alkane, alkene, alkyne, single, double or triple bond. So this is the common representation of a hydrocarbon. And I told you all the other organic compounds are considered to be derived from hydrocarbons by replacing one or more hydrogen atom by some other reactive atom or group. So that can be represented like this: RH, which is the hydrocarbon. If you remove one hydrogen and add any group or atom, you get Rg. So you can say each organic molecule consists of two parts, R and G. The first part, R, as I just told you, denotes the alkyl group. Alkyl group is nothing but carbon-hydrogen framework of the molecule. While the second part, which is G, is called functional group. We can define this functional group as an atom or a group of atom present in a molecule which largely determines the molecule's chemical properties. When you take any organic compound, its property, especially the chemical properties, are determined by the functional group present in that molecule. So you can say the R part mainly affects the physical properties like melting point, boiling point, density, solubility, etc. Whereas the functional group part determines the chemical properties. Let's take an example. OH is a functional group of alcohols. COOH is the functional group of carboxylic acids. What is the formula for ethyl group? Ethyl, it is CH3CH2. So here I have ethyl part. Here also I have ethyl part. So both are same. But look at the functional group here. This is OH and this is COOH. So now we call this compound as alcohol, this compound as an acid. Same R, which means same alkyl part, but different functional groups. So both will be having different chemical properties. These two are entirely different compounds. So you can conclude that the chemical properties of any organic compound are the properties of its functional group. Or in other words, you can say all the organic compounds containing the same functional group show similar chemical properties. For example, if you take CH3OH, CH3CH2OH or CH3CH2CH2OH, all of them will produce hydrogen when treated with sodium metal. So we understand here that any organic compound will behave in the same manner as any other organic compound having the same functional group, no matter what the rest of the molecule is. See, no matter what the rest of the molecule is. If the functional group is same, for example, I just told you CH3OH is methanol, CH3CH2OH is ethanol, CH3CH2CH2OH will be propanol. So no matter what alkyl part you have, if you have OH, they will be behaving similarly. However, there are exceptions where the molecules will exhibit some special properties. But as a whole, if the molecule has the same functional group as any other molecule, then they will be behaving similarly. But if this alkyl part is same, but the functional group is different like this, they will be behaving differently. So this is ethyl part, this is also ethyl part, but what is different? Functional group is different. So they both are entirely different compounds. So you can again define functional group. Functional group is defined as an atom or group of atoms. So here it is group of atom. OH, 2 atoms are there. Here 4 atoms are there. So functional group is defined as an atom or group of atom present in a molecule which largely determine its chemical properties. Whose chemical properties? This molecule's chemical properties are determined by the functional group. Here I gave you 2 functional groups as example. Like this, we have many functional groups that we will be seeing in this lesson and also in grade 12. So now I'll show you the list of some common functional groups. So here is a list of some common functional groups. See, this is the class of organic compounds, which means the name of the functional group, and this is the structure of the functional group. And while we are naming these compounds following the IUPAC nomenclature, we give them a special prefix or suffix depending upon the functional group which is present in the molecule, which means the organic compound. So I'll show you the prefix that we will be using and the suffix also, and we will be recalling this again while we do nomenclature, which means naming an organic compound following the IUPAC rules. So first one, alkenes. Just now we have seen about alkanes. Alkanes are hydrocarbons having carbon-carbon single bond. When there is carbon-carbon double bond, then we call them as alkenes. This is the structure. And for alkenes, we don't have a prefix name. We have only the suffix name. So we will end the name as ene. For example, if you have ethane, which is an alkane, if there is a double bond like CH2 double bond CH2, then instead of ethane, ane will be removed and you will put ene, ethene. So for alkenes, the suffix is -ene. Next comes alkynes. Alkynes, C triple bond C is the functional group. The reason why I put 2 bonds here, which means 2 more atoms can be bonded here, which means hydrogen. Here also 2 more. Here just 1 more hydrogen, because already carbon and carbon are bonded by triple bond. So this functional group is called as alkynes. And again, we don't have a prefix for alkyne. For suffix, it is -ine, ine. So ethene, if there is a triple bond, it will be called as ethyne. Instead of ene, we will put -ine, ethyne. Next comes halides. X. X can be fluorine, chlorine, bromine or iodine, halogens. If halide is present in a hydrocarbon instead of a hydrogen, I told you all the other organic compounds other than hydrocarbons are derivatives of hydrocarbons. How will you get the other compounds? By replacing one or more hydrogen atom in the hydrocarbon. So if you replace one or more hydrogen atom by X, then that is halide. And the prefix we use is halo. If it is chlorine, chloro. Fluorine, fluoro. If it is bromine, we use the prefix bromo. If it is iodine, we use the prefix iodo. There is no suffix for halides while naming. Next, alcohols. And the functional group is OH. And for certain organic compounds, there will be one or more functional group present in their structure. It can contain not just OH, sometimes they will have OH and also COOH, which is acid. They might have OH and also a amine group. So when they have multiple functional groups, then we will have preference, which should be named first and which should be named second. In such cases, certain names will be, certain functional groups will be chosen to be named as prefix, some as suffix. So such functional groups will have both names depending upon whether it is named first or it is named later. So you can use prefix and suffix also. So it is better to know both the names, and while naming we will use them accordingly. For alcohols, the prefix, when it is used as a prefix, the name that we will be using is hydroxy. If you are naming it as a end name, which means suffix, we will use ol. So I said ethane, ethene, ethine. In ethane, if you remove a hydrogen and put a OH, so we will remove a E from ethane and put OL. So the name would be ethanol. So this is the suffix for alcohols. So I will be teaching all this naming in detail in the upcoming videos. So as for now, you just understand the list of functional groups, their structure, and the prefix and the suffix that is used. Next, aldehydes. Aldehydes is CHO. So this side can be any alkyl part. The IUPAC group prefix is formyl or oxo, and the suffix is al. Like I said, ethanol, if it is CHO group instead of hydrogen, then we call that as ethanal. And now comes ketones, C double bond O, or we can just say CO. We put two bonds here, so two alkyl groups can be attached here, a CH3, CH3, or C2H5, C2H5, or C2H5, CH3. Any two alkyl group can be attached here, and the prefix IUPAC name is oxo, and the suffix is ONE. So we will end the name with ONE. Next come nitriles. C triple bond N is the structure of this functional group nitrile, and the IUPAC group prefix is cyano, and the suffix, if you are naming it as end name, we call it as nitrile. Next one, ethers, ROR. This O is the ether functional group, so either side R will be attached. This is called as alkoxy. Prefix name is alkoxy, and no suffix name for ethers. Next one, carboxylic acids. For carboxylic acids, functional group is COOH, and prefix name is carboxy, and the suffix name is oic acid, OIC acid. So we will take the E from hydrocarbon, which means alkane, and we will put oic acid. Next, esters. Esters, COOR is the functional group. We call this as the alkoxycarbonyl. IUPAC group prefix is alkoxycarbonyl, and the suffix name would be OATE. OATE, OATE, just like on, al, all, it is OATE. Next one is amines. Amines, it can be NH2. If the functional group is NH2, we call them as amines. If it is NH2, one alkyl group will be attached here. It can be NH also, which means one more hydrogen will be replaced and two alkyl groups will be present. And another one is all the hydrogens will be removed and three alkyl groups will be present. See, RNH2, RRNH2, RRRN. All this are amines. And the prefix that we use is amino, and the suffix is amine. So when you end the IUPAC name, if this functional group is present, we will end the name with amine. Next, nitro. NO2 is the functional group for nitro, and prefix that we use is also nitro, no suffix. Last one, amides. CONH2. If you have this group, we call that class of organic compounds as amides, and the prefix name is carbamoyl. See, CARBAMOYL. Carbamoyl. And the suffix name is amide. So these are the list of some common functional groups. So remember that, and remember what are functional groups. They actually determine the chemical properties of the molecules. The next topic that we are going to learn now is homologous series. To simplify and to systematize the study of organic chemistry, because we have millions and millions of organic compounds. So to have a systematic study, all the organic compounds have been divided into different families or groups, depending upon their structure and chemical properties. Each such family or group is called a homologous series. This homologous series can also be based on the functional groups. Just now we have seen alcohols, it's a homologous series of compounds. If they have acids, COOH, then again it is a homologous series. So you can define homologous series as the family or group of structurally similar organic compounds in which all the members will contain the same functional group, show a gradation in physical and similarity in chemical properties. And any two adjacent members in that family will differ by a CH2 group. I'll show you some examples. So the individual members of such a series are called homologs, and the series is called as homologous series. So it is nothing but a family or group of structurally similar organic compounds. First example is alkanes. Alkanes, they constitute a homologous series and they have a general formula CnH2n plus 2. And you know the list of alkanes: methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane and hexane. Now see, if I put one carbon atom, n is equal to 1. So here I have only one carbon atom. If I put n is equal to 1 here, what will be H? H will be 2 into 1 plus 2. That would give you 4. So CH4 is methane's formula. Now coming for ethane, I have to put 2 carbon atoms. N is equal to 2. So C2H, 2 2s are 4, 4 plus 2, 6. So C2H6 will be the formula for ethane. So next comes propane, same way. So all the alkanes in this family will have the general formula CnH2n plus 2. And I told you they are a family or a group of structurally similar organic compounds. So this is a homologous series. Alkanes, they constitute a homologous series. And one more point I told you, two adjacent members differ by a CH2 group. Now see, this is methane, ethane, CH3 bond CH3. And come to propane, CH3, CH2, CH3. What is the difference between this and this compound? A CH2. If you remove this CH2 from propane, you will get ethane. Same way, take butane, you have CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. So instead of writing it twice, I have put twice here, CH2 two times. So now what is the difference between propane and butane? It differs by a CH2 group. So two adjacent members, so coming to pentane and hexane, they differ by a CH2 group. So two adjacent member in a homologous series will differ by a CH2 group. So homo means same. So a homologous series will have a group of similar organic compounds. And I've written one more example, alcohols. When you replace a hydrogen atom in this hydrocarbon by a OH group, you will get a new homologous series, and this homologous series is called as alcohols. Now this alcohols have a general formula CnH2n plus 1 OH. This is the general formula for alcohols. I've written the first four members of the homologous series of alcohols: methanol, ethanol, propane 1-ol, butane 1-ol. If you look at the hydrocarbon, so here you have methane CH4. One hydrogen has been replaced by OH. CH4, removing one H and putting a OH, you get methanol. Ethane, you have CH3 bond CH3. Remove one hydrogen and substitute it with OH. You will get CH3, CH2, OH. Same way propanol and butanol. So you have other homologous series like this. For example, alkenes, alkynes, you have halides, ethers, aldehydes, ketones, amines, carboxylic acids, esters, list of homologous series. So if you take one homologous series, they will be having structurally similar organic compounds. And the adjacent members will differ by a CH2 group in a homologous series. When we say structurally similar, we are not talking about their properties. When you come to chemical properties, they show somewhat similar chemical properties, but there are exceptions. But when it comes to physical properties like melting point, boiling point, of this members of homologous series, they show a regular gradation with increase in molecular mass. So as you move from this to this, what increases? The molecular mass increases because the number of carbon atom increases, number of hydrogen atom increases, so the molecular mass increases. So the physical properties will also show a regular gradation. It might increase or decrease, like boiling point it will increase. So there will be a regular gradation in physical properties, whereas chemical properties, they will be showing almost similar properties, all the members in the homologous series. So we have seen about functional groups and homologous series. And the next topic that we are going to see is a very important topic in organic chemistry, which is nomenclature of organic compounds. The term nomenclature means the system of naming of organic compounds. In case of organic compounds, two systems of nomenclature are generally used: trivial or common name, IUPAC name. In early stages of the development of organic chemistry, the organic compounds were named after the source from which they were isolated. For example, if you take urea, urea got its name since the compound was first obtained from the urine of mammals. Similarly, when you take methyl alcohol, it was called wood spirit because it would be obtained by destructive distillation of wood. Since it is obtained from wood, methyl alcohol was called as wood spirit. So another example is acetic acid. Acetic acid got its name from acetum. In Latin, acetum means vinegar. Since acetic acid is present in vinegar, it has got that name, which in Latin means vinegar, acetum. Same way, formic acid. Formic acid was derived from the word formicus, which is again Latin for red ants. Since formic acid is obtained by the destructive distillation of red ants. So in early stages, as I told you, these organic compounds, they were named after the source from which they were isolated. So these names of organic compounds are called trivial names or common names. So originally these names were given without any systematic basis. But later on, certain rules were developed to name the organic compound by the common system. And we know because of the unique property of catenation, carbon forms a large number of organic compounds. So it became really difficult to remember the organic compounds by their common or trivial names. So in order to systematize the nomenclature of organic compounds, IUPAC, it is International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So IUPAC system of nomenclature was first introduced in 1947, the year when India got its independence. So these rules underwent a lot of modifications from time to time, and now we have the updated version. This IUPAC system is the most widely used system of nomenclature in organic chemistry. Nomenclature means the system of naming. The most important feature of this system is that any given molecular structure has only one IUPAC name. Similarly, any given IUPAC name denotes only one molecular structure. So IUPAC name of any organic compound consists of three parts: word root, suffix and prefix. If you learn these concepts and the rules to be followed to name an organic compound, then it will be very easy for you to name any organic compound. So we will stop here in this video. In the next video, I will teach you what are these three parts in an organic compound's IUPAC name and how to write those names. Thank you.